Hey guys, welcome back to my video for the ones who have been here before, and welcome to the ones who have not. My name is Janae and I'm the owner of Confidently You Creations. So bear with me, I am a little congested and a little stuffy, so you'll also hear that in my voiceovers for the tutorial, so just bear with me. So as stated in our last video, we were doing a giveaway for this tumbler here. And so I just randomly did a comment picker to make it even and fair, and I will let you guys see the winner here. So congratulations, girl. You are the winner of this tumbler along with the pen to match it. It's all yours. And just please send me an email. I'll link my email address down in the description box. Please send me an email. I will try to reply to your comment down below to where, or in the last video, to where you can see that you actually won and for you to contact me. So congratulations. You guys stay tuned. I'm probably going to be doing a lot more giveaways on the channel because I know some of you guys aren't on Instagram to do the giveaways. So I will do giveaways here on YouTube as well. But anyways, so the tumbler tutorial that we're going to be making is a snow globe. I know how much you guys love the snow globes. So I actually had a special guest for this tutorial, which was my husband. He wanted to make his own snow globe tumbler. He said I was taking too long, so he wanted to make his own. I was actually kind of teaching him and walking him through every step. So he wanted to do everything himself. I barely touched this cup. I did epoxy it maybe one time, or like help him put the offsets on there. But for the most part, he did it all by himself. So yeah, I will show you guys the cup here. This is the cup that he made and that he wanted to make. So I will show you guys how he and I created this with some fabric, and I guess I will talk through the offsets and the decals with you guys because I did not film that part because I did have a lot of questions on Instagram of like, how did you use fabric but then had offsets for the pictures? So I'll try to talk you guys through that. But anyways, I feel like I talked enough. Congratulations to the winner, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video with my special guest, my husband. So we'll get right into it. All right, so we're going to start from the almost very beginning. As you can see here, he's already like, get off me. I got it. I had a very stubborn first student here, but he did great. So anyways, we are going to go ahead and put our blue tape to cover up the that top rim of the cup. He already prepped it and sanded it with some Barkeeper's Friend and a 60 grit sanding block. Rinsed that off and then wiped it down with some rubbing alcohol. Now he is spray painting it like he has spray painted before. No, I'm just kidding. He has spray painted before. He spray painted my entire dresser that is now outside. But anyway, I'm just kind of telling him to spray paint vertically and horizontally, and he did great. Look at that, y'all. He did so good. So he picked out his own fabric. We went on Etsy and we picked this fabric out from one of the sellers. The first time he cut it, he did cut it in the wrong orientation. So we just took that same measurement and we are drawing a line to get the right orientation and to cut that one out. So just make sure to measure it is like an oblong shaped tumbler with these snow globes. So just try to just measure longer than its length. He's always saying some slick stuff. Longer than the length, and same thing for the width of it. Just get it, get extra material, okay? And so now he just went ahead and cut it out. Didn't want to film that boring part because you guys already seen that before in my Lisa Frank tutorial that we did. If you have not seen that one, you can click the link on the top left, top right, and it'll take you to that video. So now that we have our fabric cut out, we are going to lay some Mod Podge on the cup and lay a thin layer of Mod Podge onto the tumbler to where our fabric has something to adhere to. I'm looking for something to put the brush on. So it's easier to do this when you have the cup on something, because you do have to like lift up the fabric and then put more Mod Podge on. And also it's a great idea if you don't want to get your fingers all wet and Mod Podgy. You can use some gloves, because you do have to rub that fabric on. So lay a little bit of Mod Podge on at a time. Make sure you're getting all the way at the top and all the way at the bottom, and then you're just going to lay it back down, and then you're going to use your fingers and just press firmly to make sure the fabric is adhered to the tumbler. So you're just going to keep doing this all the way around until you reach the other side. And I'm like, come on, rub it, rub it, rub it. He wasn't rubbing it. He had like he was scared. We was talking junk this entire time. This was a great time though. Like, this is like a bonding moment. At this time, this was actually our anniversary weekend. So right after we finished with this part and we put the layers of Mod Podge on there, we went out to eat to a Mexican restaurant. So this was just our nice bonding time. We didn't have the kids, and it was just great, and it was quiet in the house. So I'm talking junk to him right now as he's doing this. And sorry, I told you guys I was stuffy. But now he's finally finished as far as laying this, wrapping it around the cup. So you're going to, again, press firmly, making sure everything is laid down, no air bubbles or bumps. And then you're going to let this dry. Make sure you get the seal. I'm always laughing because I can tell like when we were having like a moment, but you're going to make sure you get the seal really good from where it, begins and where it ends, and let that dry for about an hour, I would say, before you go into cutting it. So using a very sharp craft knife, or if you have like a specific knife that you use for fabrics, like one of those roly pizza cutter things. I know those work really good. Or you could just use scissors. Whatever you have, you don't have to go out and buy anything fancy. But you're going to take your craft knife and you're going to cut off the excess first. And then you're going to use your craft knife and just kind of expose some of that white paint that we had on there. So you're going to do that for the top and the bottom. If you have any frilly areas, then you're going to want to cut those as well. But then I told him it's easier if we just place a piece of painter's tape, especially if it's hard for you to see where to trim. Place a piece of painter's tape right there all the way down. Therefore, you can have your craft knife just glide right on down. Put a lot of pressure on there because it is fabric, and then just go ahead and take it off. It's just that easy. All right, so after you do the top and then you got the little extra piece of fabric, you're going to go ahead and do the same thing for the bottom. Trim around the bottom, just trim all that extra off, and then you're going to take your craft knife again and do the same thing, just exposing some of the, as you can see, I'm kind of like telling him where to cut it, to expose some of the paint to where our Mod Podge and epoxy have something to adhere to whenever we go to place those coats of epoxy. So we want to make sure the fabric is sealed. So as you can see there, you see white at the top and white at the bottom. So we want the Mod Podge to seal in that fabric to where epoxy doesn't get underneath it and mess up the whole thing. So I'm just going to go ahead and do some extra, frilly cutting and, making it look pretty. So now you're going to lay some Mod Podge on top of this fabric. You're going to do 2 to 3 coats of Mod Podge to make sure it's nice and sealed, and to where our epoxy does not get under it and mess up what we have done already. I actually have a snow globe tumbler course. I will link that down in the description box for you guys to check out. We go in depth more on how to create these tumblers, some tricks and tips that I've learned along the way that I don't talk about on YouTube. And then you'll also get some extra perks in there as well. And you'll also get one-on-ones with me if you need the extra assistance. So again, I'll link that down for you guys to check out, and I hope to see you guys in the course. So in this part, he was laying the epoxy on there. It is something to get used to when you're not used to doing it, but he did a phenomenal job. He just laid a little bit at a time and rubbed it in that side motion, kind of going to the left on down, making sure he gets all the nooks and crannies. You're going to do this twice. You're going to lay 2 coats of epoxy, letting the first coat dry for about 6 hours, and then the second coat you're going to want that to dry for 12 hours, making sure it's not sticky or tacky in any way. The next part, you're going to take off your painter's tape, and you're going to get all of that gunk from underneath, from where the epoxy got underneath the lip of that cup. So you want to take your craft knife and get all of that. Once you feel like you've gotten everything, try on the dome piece, the acrylic piece, to make sure it fits before you go on to this next step here. This next step is where we're going to put the epoxy inside the lip of the cup to where our plastic acrylic piece will adhere to it, creating a seal. You can use a monojet syringe. You can use a syringe like this, a smaller one, a 1 milliliter. You will have to refill it a few times unless you have a bigger syringe. Also in the course, we do go over another way that is not talked about on YouTube, or no one else has, well, that I've seen, uses this other method. So again, if you haven't signed up already for the course, it's only 25 spots available right now until we do the course again later on in the year. That's why I said it's so worth it, to where you guys can see and, you know, just have some one-on-one time and get some extra tips and tricks on how to do these Peekaboo Snowglobe tumblers. Okay, so after you went all the way around filling up that lip of the cup, you're going to put your acrylic piece on there and apply some pressure and let that sit overnight. Okay, once that has set overnight, we are going to add in our glitter and our solution. Okay, so you can pick whatever glitters you want as long as they are chunky. I have heard that you can use fine glitters, but it's in like a glue mixture that I do not use. So we're mixing glycerin and we're also mixing distilled water. Please do not use regular water. It will mold inside of your snow globe tumbler. Okay, so distilled water only. Mix that together. I use a bottle. I know I got a whole 2-year-old that I had some older bottles and I can see the lines just fine. So that is what I use, because my measuring cup, I cannot see the little measuring lines in it anymore. So yeah, so I always add a little bit of the solution in there first before I add the glitter. And the reason being for that is sometimes I don't know what the glitter looks like before I add it to the water. I may not like it, and then I can just dump it out rather than like putting all my glitter in there and then adding the solution, and then you have to dump all that out, right? So I always add a little bit of solution first, let the glitter kind of get used to the water, let it bathe in there a little bit, you know what I'm saying? And and then top it off. So as you can see, we're adding a full gold chunky glitter. We added some glow in the dark stars and some footballs because it's a football tumbler, right? Now we're gonna add the rest of our solution to top it off. I believe these take about 5 ounces. I think I said milliliters earlier in the video, but I can't remember. 5 ounces to fill it all the way to the top. All right, once you fill it all the way up to the top, you're going to take a towel or a paper towel and get all the solution off, because it does have oil in it, so you don't want this part to repel. So just make sure you wipe it really good. So this is a clear silicone base, like a clear silicone, I guess. Yeah, that's what it is. And we're going to add that to seal off the bottom. Now, somebody asked me, what is the difference between doing it this way and what I kind of showed you guys before in like the first snow globe video I showed you guys? This way, the water will not go underneath the bottom, like screwed on part. Before, when you turned it right side up, it made the tumbler look like halfway full because the water just kind of went underneath. It's hard to explain, but it just kind of went underneath the screw-on part because it was just open space there. So this basically helps to seal that open space to where the water will stay put. You will have some evaporation, because you couldn't fill it all the way up because you had to put the silicone there. So there will be some evaporation that you will see over time, but you still should have some water in the inside. So that is why the silicone is used, to prevent that water from rushing underneath when you turn it right side up. Okay. But anyways, put your bottom on, screw it on until you have little to no resistance. And then we're going to let that dry overnight as well for about 24 hours. I did have him place a coat of epoxy on this before putting our decals on. And the reason for that was because in case he spray painted, he messed up, or he didn't like the color, you can wipe and acetone the spray paint off and start over. If we did not do that, then, well, because putting acetone on that plastic acrylic piece will totally ruin it. So this is the part where I said that we had the decals. I already had printed out or had Googled Eagles logos. So since I already had the Eagles logos, they're the exact same logos, the bird, the Eagles words, and all that. All I did was measure those images that's already on the tumbler, and then I used my Cricut and I made the images the length and the width of the image on the tumbler. Hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't, let me know and I can kind of go into more details about it. But all I did was measure the images on the tumbler from the beginning to the end, and I tried to match up that exact same image on my Cricut and cut it out. So as you can see, he spray painted it black and he took off the decals, and then once he gave it a good coat of epoxy, he added whatever glitter he wanted to add, gave it 2 more coats, and then we were done, or he was done, whatever. He had a great teacher. So he did cut out some other images. He wanted 2018, the year that the Eagles won the Super Bowl, and then he wanted the Heisman Trophy, I think that's what it's called, I don't know, on the tumbler as well. So thank you guys always for sticking around to the end to watch the full tutorial. I appreciate you guys so much. If you have not already, please subscribe to our channel. We upload every Friday or Saturday. And sorry that I didn't get a chance to show you guys the offsets that we did. But again, in the Snow Globe course that you can find on our website, we do go into more depth, and I can actually show you how I did this if you're interested in that, and kind of walk you through it one-on-one. But if you haven't already, also, please join us on Facebook, Confidently You Creations, and also on Instagram. Alrighty, guys, thank you so much. We'll see you next week.